On this channel, we talk a lot about skill set, objection handling, objection prevention, lots of cool, actionable shit to help you close deals that works on real calls. But a lot of you take what I teach, apply it to calls, and for some reason, you're still not closing the amount of deals that you want to close. That is exactly what we're going to talk about today. The real reason that you're not closing deals and the top 3 blind spots that 99% of high ticket closers have and never even realize, and how to overcome each and every one of them. Welcome back to the channel. If you're new here, my name is Nick. I've closed over $3 million. I've been in this space for 3 years. I've coached close to 100 reps, like Chris here, who is the top rep on his offer for coming on 3 months now. Alex here, who made close to 11 grand a month as a setter. He made more than 5 to 6 closers on his team, and like countless others. The reason I'm able to help my clients get these kinds of results is because I quality control very heavily. I only take 5 new clients a month, so let's dive in. So number 1 is going to be congruency. The reason you're not closing deals is because you're not congruent. You are not walking the walk in your own life. And I always say this, but prospects buy you before they buy anything else. Fuck the program. If you're not walking the walk, people can feel that. They're buying you. They're buying your relationship with time, your relationship with money. They're buying your standards, your beliefs. You are subconsciously passing it on to them every single second that the call is going. And so if you haven't made a significant investment into yourself, yet you are here trying to convince people to do this every single day, it's not going to land. You're consistently giving yourself these stories about why now's not a good time, or why you want to wait until you make X amount of commissions, or why you want to wait until you're a closer to invest into your skill set. You're giving yourself all these stories, but then when it's time to deal with the prospect, you're telling yourself, well, my situation's different. Yet you wonder why no objection handling lands. You wonder why you're constantly chasing new tactics, new word tracks, simply to avoid the hard decision, the exact same hard decision that you're trying to get them to make. And so the truth is, when prospects give you an objection, deep down, you believe it. You believe that that is a lot of money. You believe that, maybe it is kind of fair that they need to think about it. Maybe now just isn't the right time for them. I get it. That's what you're subconsciously telling yourself, for yourself within your own life. I meet sales reps who have been doing this for 5+ years, 3 years, 2 years, and have never made 10 grand a month. 10 grand a month is like the floor as you really start to get into the shit. And so to have been doing this for 2+ years, having never hit that mark, it's easy to tell yourself, well, I just haven't been on the right offer. Well, the leads are just always shitty. When I have clients who are hitting 10 to 15K months before even being in sales for a full year, myself included, it's because we are congruent. So what do? The solution is simple. Make the uncomfortable decision that you are avoiding. Invest into yourself. Now, if you just heard me say that and your mind instantly created a rebuttal of why now is not the good time, exactly like I just said earlier, why you need to wait until you make more, why you need to get on a better offer before doing that, this is exactly why you're stuck. If you don't have the money, fucking get resourceful and find the money. If you don't have the time because maybe you're stacked with calls all day, find the fucking time. Stop making excuses for yourself and wondering why you're only making 4 grand a month. You are gonna remain stuck until you make the active decision to change that. And it doesn't even have to be with me. I mean, you'll be in great hands if it's with me, but it doesn't even have to be with me. Chris, who I spoke about earlier, who is crushing it, he's been top of the leaderboards for 2 straight months. This is going on month 3. Has only been in sales for 4 to 5 months, and he instantly invested into himself twice. And while the rest of his team continuously externalizes, Chris took responsibility over his decisions. He took responsibility over his life, over his results. And he is now on pace to make 12 grand a month. Again, not even a full year in. Not even 6 months in. If you want to take your skill set to the next level and stop externalizing and stop giving yourself these stories, hit the link below, see if you qualify. Again, let's jump into number 2. The next reason that you're not closing the amount of deals you want to close is your intentions. This goes hand in hand with number 1. You don't actually believe in your fucking soul that you are actually helping people. You believe that you're taking something from them, which is why you keep looking for these new manipulative word tracks to swindle them. So every time you ask for money, every time you challenge a belief, every time you're trying to push through hesitation, there's a tiny part of you that feels guilty, and the prospect feels that shit instantly. You are not leading, you are hoping. You are not guiding, you are negotiating. Because in your head, sales is something that you do to someone, not for them. which is probably why you yourself are so resistant to being sold. You see objection prevention as how do I get past their resistance versus how do I help them overcome a way of thinking that is not serving them, and your intentions are not in the right place. So when they say, I need to think about it, I'm not sure, or this isn't the right time, you're not thinking, how can I help them see that this way of thinking isn't serving them? You're thinking, what's the most fancy, quick tactic that I can get to turn this no into a yes? Why? Exactly what I said in number 1, because you're doing the exact same thing yourself. You're rationalizing, delaying, and protecting comfort, so when the prospect does that, your nervous system views that as normal. And there's this internal tug of like, fuck, I don't want to pressure them. You're probably telling yourself this story of, yeah, the reason that I'm not closing deals is because like, I don't want to pressure them. I don't want to burn the sale. I don't want to burn the lead. And then you tighten up and you start over explaining rather than leading the prospect. I remember when I made my first investment into myself, I started closing way more deals, and it's not because like literally that day. And it's not because I learned a bunch of new shows literally the same day. It was because I was finally congruent. I finally had did the tough thing that I kept telling them to do. Guys, sales is not manipulation. It is interrupting the self-sabotaging loop that your prospects have been in. We as salespeople solely exist because people are not good at making tough decisions. So that directly means that we have to be good at making tough decisions. They know that your product is best for them. They know that they need to move forward, but their standards and their fear consistently overrides the decision every single time. And you are raising them up to your standards, but you can only raise them up to a standard that you yourself are living, right? And so when your intention is to raise them up to the standard, you can say some of the craziest shit on calls because they're going to feel that it's coming from the right place. I've told people that their family deserves better than the way that they're showing up, that their wife deserves better than the man that's showing up right now, and none of them took offense to it. Taking over 2,000 sales calls for some of the top offers in the space, never has someone gone and wrote a Trustpilot review about the company that I'm working for saying that Nick pressured me. There was this one dude who said some shit on Instagram, but that was one time out of over 2,000 calls that someone has publicly said that I didn't like the salesperson that I spoke to. Think about that. And I push pretty hard. You've seen my calls if you're not new here. But if your intentions aren't in the right place, you can't call out bullshit. You can't spot the fake logic that they're having. You can't sit in the uncomfortable scenarios and situations. If you're objection handling from a place of I want your money, they feel that, versus a place of I need to help this person. If you've ever been on a sales call with me, you can feel my intentions from the minute we start speaking. You can feel my detachment, and me trying to get you over the line isn't for my pockets, but it's because I know that that's what's best for you. I'm confident that I can objection handle every single one of you because my standards speak for themselves. So the best way to get your intentions in the right place outside of being congruent, this is something I learned from Taylor Welch, is to write down 2 lists, okay? 1 list, and be very descriptive. 1 list is what actually happens if this person doesn't move forward, and write everything. What happens to their relationship with themselves, the relationship with their kids, with their family, with their spouse? Like, if nothing changes and they continue being where they are right now, what are the real consequences over the next year, 2 years, 5 years? And then you're going to write a second list of what happens if they buy and they actually follow through. What is on the other side of success for that person? And just like create the avatar in your mind. But what is on the other side of success? What are they going to experience? How are they going to show up for their kids? Again, for their wife? How are they going to be better if they make the tough decision and move forward? Have this list in front of you during all your calls and consistently looking down at it. And when they start giving you pushback, you look at that list, you see where they're headed for, and your intentions are naturally going to start to shift of, I don't want this person to be here, I want them to be there, and this way of thinking is what's going to get them there. Last thing I'll say about this, right? I had a manager. He gave me this lesson, and I remember him saying that he used to sell a business coaching program and he didn't push hard. And this particular gentleman, he called him back 6 months later, and he didn't move forward 6 months ago. When he called him back, he actually had to shut his business down, and you could tell through the phone that this dude was in the gutters. He had shut down his business. He had gone back to working a job, and it's because he couldn't solve the problem that my manager's offer was solving, and that ate him up alive. That this is really the impact that I'm making or not making when I show up on my calls every single day. So if you need to borrow some of that from me in addition to that list, your intentions are going to be huge. Let's keep going. The third and final reason that you're not closing deals is going to be a little more nuanced, but it's because you don't know how to listen for language patterns. Most closers who never hit 20, 30K months think that the reason that they don't close deals is because they didn't handle the objection properly. The truth is, they've been telling you their objection their entire call through their language patterns, but you don't know how to listen carefully for them. Objections are not random. Every word that they use is stemming from their belief system and their identity, which is what forms their decision-making process. They are on the call because they have a proven past of not being able to make sound decisions in the domain that you sell. It all comes down to 5 main belief buckets that are not serving them well: procrastination, money, time, ego, and knowledge. Those are the 5 reasons, or the 5 belief buckets that you need to listen carefully for. So when you don't close a deal, it's because you didn't listen to what belief bucket was actually speaking. I have full in-depth videos about this throughout this entire channel, but I'll give you a couple examples for the sake of this video. When someone tells you that I've just been doing research and that's why I'm not where I want to get to, they're not telling you about research. They're telling you that they have a pattern of avoiding commitment by hiding behind information. These are the same people that say, I need to do more research before moving forward at the end of the call. Or when somebody tells you that they didn't have money in the past, they're not talking about just money itself. They're telling you that they have a pattern of not getting resourceful financially to get to the outcomes that they want. They don't view money as a tool, they view it as a constraint, as a blocker. Or if they say, I didn't have the time, they're not talking about open space on their calendar. They're talking about their relationship with prioritizing what is important to them. You get the point here. They're saying that they let circumstances decide their priorities. They let busyness decide whether they do something or not. The world controls them rather than the other way around, right? If they tell you, oh, I just wanted to try on my own first, they're telling you that they have an ego problem and they've been protecting their identity, even if it costs them their outcomes, right? And the last one is if they say, oh, I didn't know where to start. They are not confused. They are afraid to choose. That's a bar. Write that down. If you're trying to handle an objection at the end of the call and you haven't challenged them on their decision-making process, which they told you through their patterns and their belief systems, you're fighting an uphill battle. These beliefs don't sound like fear. They sound like a good decision. They sound logical, which is why they continue telling themselves that. And similar to the first 2 things I said, part of the reason that you're not able to listen to language partially is because you haven't been taught, right? But a big part of it is because you have those same standards. These are the stories that you tell yourself. Before learning any word tracks, after I had invested in myself, I didn't even know how to handle, oh, someone saying, oh, I didn't have the money. I knew though that when I didn't have the fucking money, I went and took a loan, I got resourceful. And so why didn't that person do that? Why didn't they get as resourceful as I did? That's the place that I was coming from. So again, I have tons of in-depth videos about this particular topic on this channel, and I'll be recording more to come. So make sure you hit the post notifications for that. But the best way to get past this one tactically is to understand those 5 belief buckets that I told you, which I'll say again: procrastination, money, time, ego, and knowledge. Understand these belief buckets and listen to which belief bucket what your prospect is saying is under and challenge that belief, okay? So now you know the 3 secret blind spots that are holding you back from hitting your full potential in sales, in high ticket sales, and you know what you need to do to overcome them. You probably already knew that though. I just made it more clear today. So if you're ready to stop holding on to excuses that are not serving you and actually begin hitting those 10, 15, 20K months, or eat up the leaderboards the way Chris is or the way Alex is, hit the link below to qualify. If you made it this far and you got any value from this, comment the word blind spot below so I know that this shit is resonating and I can keep making more videos like this. But as always, make sure you like, comment, and subscribe. I'll see you in the next one. Peace.